It's late in the season, but not too late for a coaching change. One coach will tell us what it's like leading up to the trading deadline. And you want highlights? You got highlights. These stories and more. It's time for another ECHL week.
Hi, welcome to ECHL Week. I'm Barry Schickling. The Wheeling Nailers have a new head coach. Mark French resigned his position on Wednesday, being replaced on an interim basis by his former assistant, Derek Army. The team announced the move, saying that French has been away from his family since prior to the start of this season as a consequence of COVID-19 protocols and Canadian border restrictions. He plans to return to his home on Prince Edward Island. Army, who also spent part of 2 seasons as an assistant with Worcester prior to taking his position this season in West Virginia, said, "I'm thankful for every second that I was able to spend with Mark, as I was able to learn about how he handles the players, systems, and situations. I am excited to take on this next challenge," said French. "I felt like I need to put my family first. I'm confident that Army will do a great job for the organization." The Nailers got off to a slow start this season, but were 6-1-1 in their last 8 games prior to French's departure. Wheeling's NHL affiliate is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their manager of hockey operations, Eric Heasley, said, "The organization has confidence in Derek Army to fulfill the duties of interim head coach. We will begin to look to add to the coaching staff immediately." We'll talk with Army on next week's ECHL Week program. The 2021 trading deadline has come and gone. Numerous teams made moves. We'll get to them in just a moment. But first, a bit of background about this time of year. We're happy to be joined today by Riley Armstrong, head coach and assistant general manager of the Maine Mariners. Riley, since the Mariners opted out for pandemic-related reasons this year, I guess you've been trying to keep track of all the players you signed last summer.
Definitely keeping tabs on them. I think it's very important for the guys to play. Whether it's on another team in this league or in the SPHL. I know we have probably 4 or 5 guys playing in the SPHL as well, and the coaches down there have been awesome in communicating with me and keeping me up to date on how their progress is going. And then we also had a couple of guys go over to Europe as well and check that out too. So they're already home, those guys that were over in Europe, and they all enjoyed it. It was a different lifestyle playing over there, so it was cool to hear the stories from those guys as they got home as well.
So you've been through a couple of trading deadlines with the Mariners. Tell us a little bit about what kind of thing happens on that day.
Usually at the ECHL level, you just have the head coach, your assistant coach, and you just sit in the room and you're going back and forth on guys. So in the past couple years, Danny Briere has always come up to join us on trade deadline and kind of use it as a way to kind of get everyone together as well. I think the more heads you have in a room, the better outcome you're going to have to put some information together. But I do feel during the course of the year, teams are always you're always talking with teams, or you're just playing against a team and you're chatting about, this guy or that guy. And I think when it comes down to it, after playing against so many teams and seeing players be moved, you might have your eye on one guy that, I wish we could get this guy. And those are the kind of guys that I like to just call on and see where they're at. But then at the same time, you look at where teams are at in the standings and seeing, hey, are you looking to move anyone? And kind of see what they want and see if they have a guy that might be on the move that might help us. So it's definitely a ton of phone calls, a lot of texting. You want to get everyone in the room and involved in something. So you have the assistant coach making calls, Danny's making calls. So it makes it fun of kind of getting different names on the table and seeing where it goes.
Do you miss being behind the bench this season?
Big time. I think my wife misses going to the games as well, and same with my kids. It's definitely been a long off season for us, and I think my wife wants me out of the house too. Been kicking around for too long, so definitely, it honestly can't come quick enough for our home opener back up in Maine again. I know our whole front office and our staff here is itching at it. The fans and the city of Portland as well. Everybody wants to get back and watch hockey again.
Riley Armstrong, head coach and assistant general manager of the Maine Mariners, thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at an arena next season.
All the trades leading up to the deadline when ECHL week continues.
New buyers can benefit by working with a trusted real estate agent. Will Springer is your trusted advisor for buyers and sellers. For a free consultation or to find an agent in your area of the country, contact Will today.
Routines like staying active or talking to friends can help keep you centered. For more tips, visit coping-19.org.
It's time to run down the entire listing of trade activity that's taken place this week. If you combine the fact that just 14 teams are participating this season and 13 of them are within a reasonable distance of a playoff position, the imbalance of buyers versus sellers made for one of the least active trade deadlines in recent memory. And on the surface, just one of the deals this week was a head-turner. In a trade orchestrated by Mark French before his departure from Wheeling, forward Michael Joly was sent by the Nailers to Orlando to satisfy a February trade which sent defenseman Patrick McNally to the Nailers. Wheeling also picks up future considerations from the Solar Bears in this deal. Joly was a member of Kelly Cup winning Colorado 3 seasons ago. That year he led the ECHL in playoff scoring and picked up the league's postseason MVP trophy. He's played more than half of his 240-game pro career in the American Hockey League. Indy was one of the busy clubs. The Fuel obtained defenseman Eric Williams from Greenville in exchange for future considerations. Williams had skated in 20 games with the Swamp Rabbits this season. Indy also picked up defenseman Jordan Schneider from Orlando, also for futures. Schneider, who recently completed his college career at Clarkson, played in 3 games with the Solar Bears prior to the deal. The Fuel also moved a defenseman, sending Anthony Weiss, who joined the team in February after concluding his college career, to Greenville. That satisfied the future considerations aspect of a March trade which also involved David Brohl, Ryan Zulsdorf, and Tim Davison. Speaking of the Swamp Rabbits, they were also busy. In addition to the 2 deals with Indy, Greenville picked up some forward depth, adding Nolan Laporte from Fort Wayne for cash. Laporte, who will be joining his 5th ECHL team, had skated in just 7 games for the Comets this season. He's one of the few players who had previously signed with 2 teams which opted out for this season, Atlanta and Toledo. The other deal in the week leading up to Thursday's trade deadline also involved Fort Wayne. The Comets, hoping to beef up their attack, obtained forward Alan Lazarchik from Tulsa in exchange for defenseman Curtis Leonard. You might recall that Lazarchik was the Comets' Team Rookie of the Year last season when he amassed 46 points in 57 games. He's joining his 4th team this season, including 3 in the ECHL. Leonard has experience, but has also had injury issues and as a result has played sparingly this season. And a note regarding the Oilers, they were dealt a blow last weekend when the team's 2nd leading scorer, Danny Moynihan, announced his retirement because of a health-related issue. It's time to look at some interesting highlights. Yes, it's the best of the week. We start with one of the hottest sticks in the ECHL, Brandon Hawkins of Fort Wayne. This goal against Indy was his 10th in his last 9 games. It helped the Comets to a shutout victory. By the way, Hawkins' streak has earned him an AHL call-up. Here's Jacksonville's Mike Smatula ripping the overtime game winner against Orlando to give the Icemen their 4th straight win. Matt Lane of Tulsa shows some breakaway speed and some pretty good puck handling skills too in picking up his 2nd goal of the game. It helped the Oilers to a win at Wichita.
It's his second of the game, his seventh of the season against the Thunder. And out of players playing tonight, he leads the team and now surpassing Pleskach overall. It's his 14th of the season.
Speaking of the Thunder, check out Anthony Beauregard sending the puck toward the net. It deflects in off a Tulsa player to give Wichita an overtime victory. One of the hottest teams in the league is Wheeling, and one of the reasons is outstanding puck movement like this, which precedes a goal by the Nailers' Patrick Watling in a win over Indy. Another hot team is Orlando. Watch Chris LeBlanc head to the net when he sees teammate Aaron Luchuk with the puck. The Solar Bears came away victorious in this game at South Carolina. Greenville defenseman Frank Hora isn't known as a big goal scorer, but when the opportunity presents itself in the form of a loose puck, Hora takes care of business during the Swamp Rabbits shutout at Florida.
Tonight, and it's 2-0 for Greenville.
If you can keep offensive pressure on long enough, it often pays dividends. That's the case here for the Allen Americans, who get on the board with Corey Mackin's edge of the face-off circle drive in a game at Rapid City.
Rebound came back outside. Beautiful play set up there by Carroll as they worked it across. Found the open man, Mackin.
And we've seen some great saves by South Carolina's Alex Dubois this season. Here's another one versus the Solar Bears. That is a lightning quick glove.
And keeps South Carolina in the lead 6-5.
That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. It's the best way to keep up to date on everything that's going on throughout the ECHL until the next ECHL Week show rolls around. See you next time.